Welcome to the Militarnyi channel viewers. We are here for the new episode of To Arms. Today I have an interesting guest, a guest from Lithuania, Gediminas Guoba, CEO of Granta Autonomy, a company that supplies the Ukrainian military with HORNET XR reconnaissance drones and FPV drones, who is here to share insights. So, you repeatedly say that you and Granta Autonomy employers working directly on Frontline with Ukrainian militaries. So, tell us, what are you doing in Ukraine now?
Okay, so maybe if to start from the beginning and just to bring some context why we are here and what we are doing here. So in general, our company, or me and my colleague, we started to work on drones in 2014. So in general, when Russia invaded Ukraine, we just saw, okay, that can happen in Lithuania too. So what we can do about that? So we as high-tech geeks decided, okay, seems like drones are a very good tool and let's build them. So we started to build them, and yeah, it took some time. We got some contracts in Lithuania and other NATO countries. But then 2022 came, February 24, right? And yeah, then that was kind of a second call for us, but okay, it's time. So we prepared it for it. We were preparing for it for last 8 years. So we need to start sending our UAVs, our drones to Ukraine. And that's how it started, like sending to Ukraine. So early March, first batch was delivered to Ukraine. We started gathering knowledge and so on, getting feedback, some feedback. But yeah, that feedback was, if I can say so, remote feedback. We just were sending them there. Some volunteers were bringing them here, and we didn't really felt like we understand what's going on and where we need to move and so on. So yeah, according to feedback, we started a new generation HORNET XR and like bringing more features or capabilities like jamming resilience, GPS, capability to fly in GNSS denied environments and so on. But yeah, we still didn't feel like we understand what's going on and where we need to move. So that's why we started to come here with our UAVs, test it at first in the military ranges, and understanding, okay, how actually jammers works, what we can offer to counter them. And we started to work on radio links, on better camera gimbals, on extending time in air, and so on. So after we felt that, okay, now we can survive in military ranges against local jammers, so let's go further. Let's go to the front lines and start testing our UAVs there. And that's how all the like trip and our experience here, I can't say started, but yeah, how it followed. And actually we were very happy about that. Not only like, okay, we in general, being there and absorbing that environment, what's going on there, right? How operator feels like, how to be operator feels like there, like continuous bombing goes, like you need to keep hiding, you need to keep following radio frequencies, radio spectrum analyzers to understand, okay, if there's something working above you, and so on. So that really changed our mindset, how our UAVs needs to be developed, how they needs to be built, and where we should go. We did understand that, okay, in general, operators here, they have a lot of different UAVs, and to ensure that our UAV will be adapted here, it should be very simple to use, reliable, and just straightforward. So yeah, things like that we learned here, and then back to Lithuania, back to the drawing board. Yeah, improved a lot of things, and we keep coming here. Like every 2 months or so, we keep coming here, and yeah, also just to keep touch with reality, if I may say so, because yeah. Um, Being in country where you don't really have a war, right? It's really different thing. You can quickly forget about, okay, what actually is important here, important, not there for Western countries or something. So yeah, that's why we keep coming here to keep touch with reality, to keep understanding what's going on, to keep understanding where we need to move, and to do not forget that, okay, real battlefield or real test field is actually here, not somewhere, in our military ranges or something.
So now you're here for round of tests of Hornet.
Yes.
So, and what kind of feedback now, and what needs to be improved right now?
There are always some details, what you find, but okay, it can be better, it can work better, it can be improved. Starting from, okay, technologies, going to manufacturing clients, how to make it cheaper, faster, to deliver more things, right? So it always can be improved, but yeah, it's mostly about those things. Talking about bigger products, yeah, we are expanding our product line according to feedback what we collect here. For example, okay, some time ago, having reconnaissance drone was a big deal, right? You have eyes in the air, you can collect a lot of information and so on. But when you collect that there is an enemy 50 kilometers away from you, okay, what you can do about that, right? If you don't have like tools how to reach that enemy 50 kilometers away, it doesn't really make sense. So yeah, that's why we started also to look into loitering munitions. And we see here in Ukraine, currently there are a lot of different loitering munitions made by local companies, by foreign companies. But yeah, that makes sense. Otherwise, yeah, doing reconnaissance far away, it doesn't make sense. So yeah, we learned that yeah, loitering munition needs to be next our product. So yeah, how it needs to integrate with our reconnaissance drone, what kind of warhead it needs to bring, and so on, so on. So yeah, I would say it's mostly about learning new products and yeah, just some smaller or bigger details how our Hornet needs to be improved.
How Hornet changed from first plane to now?
Yeah, that's a very good question because yeah, in 2022 when we sent our first batch, that was second generation Hornet, and its capability was to fly only 10, 12 kilometers. And I know in a few months we got feedback. Look, guys, Mavics like yeah, copters and so on, they do very same range. So why we need fixed wing? Okay, so that was a first and a huge improvement. Yeah, exactly, to increase the range. So we started from 30 kilometers and we have increased flight time from 80 minutes to 3 hours. So that's almost 3 times. So yeah, those kind of improvements definitely then flying in GNSS, the night environment, right? Yeah, everyone knows. Forget about GPS. There is no GPS and so on, so on. Improving data link, like ensuring that okay, it will work in jammed environments above Russian jammers and so on, so on. So in general, it has changed a lot in flight time, in range, and in resilience to different electronic warfare means. It has a very good optics, and also it comes with thermal camera, both and day cameras and thermal cameras. So it can work in very wide range. Yeah, it can be used for very wide range of operations, starting from in civil search and rescue, going to doing reconnaissance and surveillance in military, to even to fire correction, target acquisition, fire correction, and so on, so on. So yeah, it's very wide range reconnaissance drone.
How much Hornets Ukraine military used? I don't need the numbers, maybe tens, hundreds.
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 Yeah, hundreds.
And you always keep in touch with this.
Yeah, that's very important for us because, yeah, again, to better understand, okay, how the battlefield is changing, right? Because we see that during those almost 3 years of full-scale invasion, the battlefield has changed very, yeah, quite a lot, right? So yeah, we keep updating it. We keep updating it, collecting that knowledge, and yeah, then checking, okay, what needs to be improved, or yeah, again, what kind of products needs to be added to our product lines. Because yeah, again, we didn't really see ourselves as FPV manufacturers. But yeah, this year we started to manufacture FPV drones, and those were not very usual ones. Yeah, we were aiming for a little bit longer distances, like 25 kilometers and so on, and bigger warheads. But at the same time, we were investing quite a lot in jamming resilience into autonomy. So yeah, again, we saw that it works, and that probably would be needed in our country too. So yeah, let's build that capability in our country too, because our mission from the beginning actually was about protecting our country. In general, we manufacture or we develop products what can help to protect our country and at the same time to help here in Ukraine. So that was our mission, and that's how we see our mission, our company's mission. So but yeah, what I should mention in general about Ukraine and cooperation with Ukrainian companies. So we already have a lot of partnership here, especially, for example, in our FPV drone, a lot of parts comes from Ukraine. So from one side, in that way, we support local manufacturers, but from other side, we also get a better integration, or we bring systems to operators what they already know. They know how to operate and how to use them. They get local service and so on, so on. So yeah, integration and making work together different systems, that's one of our targets.
Okay, we are in Ukraine say that our IOS system the best in the world. What do you think about this? And who is your main competitor in Ukraine?
I'm 100% agree that Ukraine has best experience in this battlefield, and this battlefield is the most complicated battlefield that we had during all wars, right? We never saw such complicated and so many different technologies used in the battlefield as we see here in the Ukraine. So that's for sure. For competitors, I can't really say what we see other UAV companies as competitors. Nor in Europe, nor here in Ukraine. In general, we see them more as partners.
No, it's not about competitions. It's about technical details.
HORNET XR is in very similar level of capabilities with Minishark and Leleka. So if we talk at that level, but yeah, again, we are very happy to talk with other companies, with other UAV manufacturers, sharing our components, what we manufacture, and maybe bringing their components to our UAVs, to our FPVs, what I already mentioned. So yeah, I would say it can be as, yeah, we can name other UAVs as competitors, but it's mostly about joining forces together to move forward faster, because that's what is important. every single company, they can't work, and we can't work on the whole system. We will move forward much faster if we will bring component from someone who is very good at that, another component from another company, then we had something what we are good at that, and develop best product faster here and deploy to the battlefield as soon as possible.
Who is your main competitor in NATO, in NATO market, and how it look like in NATO? So you have a drone, battle approved in Ukraine, and how it looks like for NATO armies?
Yeah, again, about competitors, they are partners in most cases. But what we see actually, especially during the last year, what different countries started to focus more on local companies. So, because yeah, every country wants to develop drone capability inside of their country. So, yeah, and to come with a solution from other country gets harder and harder, right? And that's why that cooperation and partnership makes sense even more, because yeah, you can provide the whole system to foreign armed forces, especially if they have already a UAV manufacturer locally, a local UAV manufacturer. But definitely you can cooperate with local manufacturer and see, okay, what components can be added to their UAV to bring better capabilities to their UAVs. For example, maybe until then they worked only for civil market. Okay, so what can make your UAV to work in the battlefield? So most likely you will need GNSS denied compatible system, you will need jamming resilient data link, maybe you will need better camera, maybe a thermal camera, and so on, so on. So that's cooperation, what helps us to work with other countries, to sell to other countries, and to expand our components. So yeah, again, those competitors we see more and more often become partners, not really competitors.
But are you see some interest from NATO armies in your UAV systems because it's battle approved?
Yeah, so some interest from some countries definitely is, especially from countries who are closer to the eastern flank. So yeah, because for them is the most interesting to bring UAVs that actually will work in the battlefield in case of conflict or something. So yeah, and I'm happy that in Lithuania we also started to look in that way. Okay, if we are buying some new stuff, will it work in the battlefield, or is it not tested, and so on, so on. So yeah, the mindset definitely is changing.
Does war in Ukraine change the requirements for drones? Do you see something changed?
Yes, yes, for sure. Before that, we had very expensive loitering munitions when one unit costed like $100,000, right? That's crazy. And now FPV drones brought that price to a very low level and bringing, if not the same, but very similar capability. So yeah, this war definitely showed that drones are not a toy, not toys, and they can really they can really bring a difference. Anyone who is saying, but okay, probably FPV drones came because there were lack of 155 ammunition, and I say, did you see any war before where the front line 10 kilometers, in 10 kilometers range, there is no like a single life in that range. With 155 shells, you wouldn't be able to do that because you can strike only static targets. And FPV drones, those are things what actually removed all the life from the battlefield, from the front line. Because anything what just starts moving got destroyed immediately or chased and destroyed by FPV drones. So drones definitely changed the current battlefield.
But if you talk about FPV, some countries, some militaries say that, oh, FPV, it's because they were cheap and Ukraine is pure country, so that's why they use it. But it's a toy, it's not interesting for us, for NATO armies. Are you hear something like that, or it's changed?
It's changing. Our chief commander of armed forces were visiting Kiev, and he also during his interview said, like 1 year ago or so, I was thinking that drones is temporary thing. Now it's not the case for today. And Lithuanian armed forces actually buying FPV drones and adding to their doctrines and learning how to use them. So it's changing. And probably those countries, again, who are closer to the eastern flank, they will change their mindset much faster comparing with other countries. But other countries will come too. And seems like already they are changing their mindset because, yeah, again, seems like all countries started to invest a lot in drones.
We wrote in Militarnyi about that the Lithuanian Minister of Defense bought FPV drones for Ukrainian army and for Lithuanian army, and there was FPV drones from your company. It's GA-10FPV-AI. So what kind of drone is it?
Yeah, so this drone, yeah, it's if I would talk from technical perspective, it's 10-inch drone, so a bigger one that can carry from 2 to 3 kilogram payload and bring it from 20 to 25 kilometers away. Yeah, most interestingly, yeah, we brought our experience in jamming resilience communication to that FPV drone, ensuring that it will be much more resilient to jammers comparing with other FPV drones. And also we have added that those letters AI, very,
I
very
have this
fancy
question.
letters.
It's
Yeah,
artificial
exactly.
intelligence, yep.
Yeah, so we have added terminal guidance capability to those drones. So yeah, the operator can just set target and yeah, drone won't need any input from operator going forward and will chase the target on its own.
It's Granta Autonomy system, this automatic targeting, yep.
Yes, exactly.
It's some model which can use for other drones,
Yes.
or it's only your...
Yes, it can be used in general for any FPV drone. So as we say, we can buy a drone in the toy shop, add that model, and make that toy a weapon. That's at least by Lithuanian law. If the drone can chase the target on its own with purpose to destroy it, it's a weapon. So adding that small, simple model creates a toy, makes a toy a weapon.
So there was information about few thousands of drones for Ukrainian army. It's finished, you're finished this contract, or it's still in process?
Yeah, probably 3 or 5, and yeah, I think it's about to be finished now. Yeah.
Okay, and do you see any perspective for spend drones for Ukraine army more and more? What kind of feedback from Ukrainian army about this FPV? Because we have a lot of FPV drones in Ukraine. So what about you?
Yeah, actually, I didn't get any feedback yet, except those what we were testing on our own with Ukrainian operators. So yeah, I know, but going and looking forward about perspective buying more drones. So yeah, actually, Lithuania now is buying reconnaissance drones for Ukraine, and HORNET XR will be one of those. So I think. And I would like to say I'm sure that Lithuania will invest more because, yeah, again, bringing our drones here also ensures that Lithuania will have drone capability if they will need. Because bringing drones here is not only about getting experience here, but also establishing manufacturing lines. And that's much more complicated thing than just develop a drone.
Establish a manufacturing line here in Ukraine?
In Lithuania.
In Lithuania.
Yeah.
Okay. So one of the difficult questions about FPV drones for our companies is components for FPV drone. What about your company? You can use European components or you use Chinese. How it's work for you?
Yeah. So in general, yeah, to get some components, yeah, it's getting harder and harder. And yeah, actually, from the beginning, we were looking back to Ukraine. Yes, I mentioned what components we can buy here.
In Ukraine.
Yes, exactly. Because some components we already manufacture here in huge quantities, and if we can support manufacturers here in Ukraine, buying them from them, that's just yeah, very good thing, right? So yeah, that's what we do, and I heard, but yeah, for example, motors, we keep them buying from China. But I heard that, okay, in Ukraine already there are lines to manufacture motors locally. So we started to explore, okay, from who we can get motors here. Because, you know, in my opinion, buying from China is like feeding your potential enemy. So I don't think that is a very good idea. So everyone who is joining forces and starting to build components locally, those components what previously were manufactured back in China, I think all those companies needs to be supported, or priority of support needs to be increased because, yeah, again, we don't know how China will start behaving tomorrow or after tomorrow. So, yeah, I would be happy buying from European companies, Ukrainian companies, but not from China. So most of components are already manufactured in Lithuania. For example, electronics, frames, they are manufactured in Lithuania, but not motors. Also batteries, but batteries, the good thing, but there are other manufacturers outside of China. China is not, I think it's not the biggest manufacturer of batteries. So yeah, batteries can be bought elsewhere, and that's good. So yeah, a lot of parts we already can manufacture in Lithuania.
And what about companies for Hornet? How much of them you can, where you where you get them?
Yeah, so for Hornet, there is a strict thing. China, we have closed component sourcing from China a long time ago, so that's not the case anymore. But at the same time, we also that's because yeah, most of the things we manufacture ourselves. For example, electronics. Most of the electronics is built in Lithuania in our company, and so on. And yeah, then the rest. Also, we were focusing on non-China and non-China companies, because again, this is a reconnaissance UAV that is sold to different NATO countries. So using components from China is not really allowed.
When we talk that you produce reconnaissance US Hornet, what does it mean in details? So what are you doing?
Yeah, very good question. So in general, we are quite unique drone manufacturer from that perspective, but we are manufacturing for ourselves and the most critical components. For example, the most drone manufacturers, or 99% manufacturers, we buy radio links elsewhere. We manufacture them by ourselves in Lithuania. 99% of drone manufacturers buys camera gimbals elsewhere, and we manufacture them in our company. So yeah, so we are not only like a platform manufacturer, but we also manufacture autopilot software, autopilots itself, ground control stations, gimbals, radio links. So yeah, for us, it's not only like assembly, but also developing those very critical components.
Okay, I go back to FPV drones. So we talk about FPV drones from Ukrainian army, but for Lithuanian army, Lithuanian Ministry of Defense buy it for both armies and for Lithuanian too. How do you think Lithuanian army is seriously looking for topic of FPV like units which you need?
Yes, I think we look into that very seriously. Again, Chief Commander publicly announced it, but yeah, we see FPV drones as really important force. And I think that helped to understand, yeah, again, Ukraine shows the difference, right? What kind of difference FPV drones created here in Ukraine. But at the same time, in Lithuania, we had some military exercises where drones, FPV drones, showed exceptional performance. Like, yeah, we have boxers, like infantry fighting vehicles, and JLTVs, and so on and so on. And they were destroyed. Every of those vehicles were destroyed a few times with help of FPV drones, and those were operated just by regular, I know, hobby operators who were just driving them very good. So yeah, I think all those different things showed that yeah, it's not temporary thing. It's not something what we will find how to fight against them very soon. So seems like this is a very important and strong force, and it needs to be part of our forces, ensuring that, okay, if something will happen, we won't be at that stage that, okay, during first or 2 days, we will lose all our equipment and we won't be able to do anything against that. So yeah, I'm really happy that our armed forces accepting FPV drone as a tool that can be used in our armed forces.
So, and this is drones with AE systems, with this model for automatic targeting, all of this.
Yeah, all kind of things. So in general, the same thing what we have tested here in Ukraine, what we have proven that it works here in Ukraine, the same thing is delivered to Lithuanian armed forces too. Yeah.
So and now in Ukraine, one of the topics which are looking for it's fiber systems for drones. Are you looking for something like this?
Yes. This is a very interesting solution and very effective solution, I should admit. That's not something what we have started to work on. But yeah, again, this is really promising solution that brings broader capabilities to FPV drones, to those capabilities that we already had. So I'm sure that even if that won't be us, but some other company will start bringing it to the battlefield in Lithuania too. So yeah, that's really promising.
What about strike drones? Are you looking for something like that?
Yeah, actually we are in development of loitering munition. So Yeah, and again, here we are working with different countries on that loitering munition, and one of the countries or company comes from Ukraine. So again, solutions that were developed here, that were proven here as working solutions, will be used in our loitering munition, and this is a joint partnership to develop it and to deliver to the battlefield faster. Yeah, again, one day we can be competitors, but another day partners to ensure that product will be delivered to the battlefield as soon as possible.
In timeline from idea to solution, where are you now with this drone?
Yeah, so we are planning to do tests here already in Ukraine. So in general, we are very close. But yeah, again, experience here in Ukraine helped us to create testing environment in Lithuania. So before coming to Ukraine, we can do a lot of tests already in Lithuania and to ensure that, okay, it will be it will be able to work in GNSS denied environment, it will be jamming resilient, and so on and so on. So a lot of tests we will be able to do already in Lithuania, and here we will come with it, starting to showcasing it and also doing first tests in the battlefield.
What is the main problems with such drones?
Yeah, there are like a reconnaissance drone, the same with loitering munition. This is a complicated robot that consists of even more complicated different components. So from one point of view, yeah, you need to bring the same technologies from reconnaissance drone, like jamming resilience, data links, GNSS denied environment capability. But from the other side, you need to manufacture or find a partner who will manufacture a warhead for you, who will manufacture all the safety system. Also, you need to develop and test terminal guidance, so going to into a target, and all those things takes time. Takes time for learning, and especially what you destroy of them quite a lot during the testing for various reasons. So yeah, it's not really so easy. And launching, operating them, you need to kind of get some, certification to ensure that your tool is safe.
And good munition,
UAVs,
it's very important.
yes, and all the logistics, right? How you deliver it. Especially for us, we will deliver it from NATO country to Ukraine, how it will be delivered through all the other countries, because, yeah, they will come with warheads, with explosives, and so permissions, certifications, logistics, teaching operators how safely it use. So it's a much longer line, I would say, of use comparing with just regular reconnaissance drones. FPV drones, I think they got up to speed much faster because a lot of regular usual munition was used with FPV drones. Just, I know, starting from grenades, going to, I know, different standard shells, and so on, so on. That's not the case with loitering munitions, because, yeah, we need to reach longer distances, and so on, so on. So yeah, I think maybe that's mostly about that, but I can't really say that there is no progress in that area. So yeah, again, RAM to other manufacturers who manufacture those drones, and actually I see the smaller and bigger companies here in Ukraine who is manufacture different kind of loitering munitions that can reach 60 or even more kilometers.
You said about test in Lithuania before send something for Ukraine. It's difficult to make some tests there because some companies from Europe, from NATO countries, they say that it's really hard to find the place for testing because there are a lot of different problems with time, and you can send offer for testing and get them after 3 months. It's difficult in Lithuanian too, or it's become
No,
easy?
no, it's much easier. Uh, Again, we started in 2014. During that time, we got a lot of contacts in armed
Oh, so you
forces.
have some information
Yeah,
how to do it.
yeah, and we we did a lot of trainings already with armed forces in different ranges and so on, so on. So for us, it's easier. But at the same time, I'm very happy that Lithuania is looking into it much in much simple way without as less bureaucracy as possible. And I think that was this year or last year when actually it was introduced even in our law, that armed forces, they need to support companies providing testing ranges and so on. So yeah, even from our MOD, there are actions to ensure that companies will be able to test their stuff. And our armed forces, we are very interested into new stuff, into helping companies and seeing, okay, what you have developed, how does it work? Does it will help somehow us? So yeah, our own armed forces are also very interested into developing new stuff, helping to develop new stuff, uh, bring their equipment that is needed to test different stuff. So yeah, there are, I would say there is a really good collaboration between business, armed forces, and MOD in our country.
What about training for Lithuanian armies? Are you do some trainings for them how to work using your experience here in Ukraine?
Yeah, yeah. So I mentioned we had probably now that was the biggest exercise in Lithuania where we were using, like, I know, 5 or 6 different types of drones in a single exercise that lasted like, 4 days or something. So yeah, we were using reconnaissance drones, including copters, fixed wings. We were using FPV drones, and so on, so on. So that was real help for them to better understand what
How
drones
it's
can
work?
bring
Yeah.
them. Yeah, because we were providing video streams directly for ground units. FPV drones were using to destroy targets. Also, we have different kind of exercises, like, for example, okay, how our howitzers looks like in the night, right? How their thermal footprint looks like, how we can improve it. So if we buy one camouflage or another camouflage, will it help us? We also have training like for fire correction and so on, so on. So actually, our military is very happy to call for, I should say, civilians to join exercises and to help them with toys. What actually became like real, uh, real and important assets here in Ukraine, like Mavic. It's a toy. It's a cheap, relatively cheap
Cheap.
toy,
I don't
but
know. When you buy it for for some units, it's not cheap, but
relatively,
of course,
because anything comparable like that in Western countries in
of
NATO
course.
costs, I don't know, many, many times more. So we are inviting them and we are learning. We are learning and we are happy to learn and we keep inviting. So seems like that collaboration is also very important for them. That knowledge is very important for them. And yeah, again, when we see what they started to buy those drones for themselves, even 1 year ago, they were thought as a temporary solution. So yeah, it's not anymore like that, and they buying them for themselves because yeah, they see it. It's very useful, and it needs to be integrated into armed forces.
One interesting term you say about Mavic, and now in Ukraine we have few companies, some companies who makes Ukrainian Mavic. It's copter for reconnaissance. So now weather is bad and your system can't fly because it's cloudy. What about such solution? Are you looking for this term to make copter for reconnaissance?
No, actually, copter is not our area. And we told to ourselves a long time ago, but at the same time, here in Ukraine, together with Ukrainian soldiers, we found that fixed wing UAV actually can be replaced in areas where copters previously were thought as the best tool. For example, to do reconnaissance like 5-10 kilometers away from you, and if you have only Mavics, you do a carousel, I think that's the word, right?
But Mavic, it's not a military drone, so.
It's not, but it.
But it works, of course.
Yes,
of course, it
in a
works.
very wide scale, right?
Yep.
So you need a few of them and do a carousel, rotate them. You need at least maybe 5 operators or something. But in place of that, to support your ground units, you can launch UAV, a fixed wing UAV, and it will fly there for 3 hours or so, and you will need maybe only 2 operators or so. So yeah, that's already a help because you will need less people, and so yeah, I think fixed wings can be used in more missions and cover some missions that previously only drones were used for that.
Okay, so, and the last question, how do you think NATO prepare for war? Lithuania prepare for war?
We are getting there. We are getting there, and I think yeah, this is a huge thanks to Ukraine, but we are providing a lot of experience and knowledge not only to Lithuania but to other countries. And yeah, I just remember what was in 2014. Our armed forces were support to armed forces was below 1% of GDP, and there was nothing except probably rifles at our armed forces. So yeah, that's really changing. Those 10 years introduced a lot of advancements in our armed forces, and some countries took it as their duty to start refreshing their armed forces and start upgrading them. Some maybe further from eastern flank, they keep same budgets as it was before. So yeah, I think it depends really from country to country. But yeah, I'm really happy what my country took it very seriously, and now our budget is with 3.5%, and yeah, I believe it will keep increasing. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you for what you do for us, for Ukrainian army.
Thank you.
It's important. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.